Hello, guys. Hello, mortals out there. This is our season finale. Today, we are introducing to you guys a new topic for those of you who are following or have followed Mistresses Behind the Myth, or for those of you who are new, welcome. It is our season finale. So, if you guys have to, you guys can go back and rewatch it and just know the gist of it. Just know what we're doing, and we're just basically covering stories of women behind the myth. We have done this for 10 episodes so far, and this is episode 10.
Hola.
Hey, can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great, I can hear you as well. I just did sound check with everyone, even though no one answered. I know they can hear me. We have a great story. So I just told everyone that we have a great story. It is our season finale. We have a lot of things in store for them, and it's like full of anticipation and basically a lot of good surprises today. A great story, and I also welcome anyone who's new here. Welcome to Mistresses Behind the Myth. Unfortunately, this is our season finale, so you guys won't see us for a little while.
Not unfortunately. For those of you who are new, you have the pleasure of binge watching every episode we've ever released.
Yes,
so that's great.
That's true. That's true. Let's go ahead with the intro.
Oh yes, of course, with the intro. So aloha, mortals. Today you would I did warn you guys last time in our Egyptian episode that you would need to keep your sunglasses. We are going to slightly less warm places, less dry, still pretty warm though. So I hope you packed a bathing suit. So mistresses, misters, deities, kupuas, we'll get to that later, and mortals alike. You could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you are here tonight with Julie and me. So
Yay!
What's up, mortals? We've traveled many miles from the Eastern Sea, the Red Sea, probably through the Red Sea. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. To the western part of the world, and everyone's favorite vacation spot. We are in Hawaii.
Yay!
So yes, we are in Hawaii, and in honor of June being Pride Month, our story today is also a Pride story. So
yes,
yay,
yay, yay! Hand claps, everyone. Well, today our story is going to be about another female icon, another female cultural icon that she is the embodiment of badass and partying, whichever way you want to see it. So today we're going to party. I have sunglasses on, and I have not an alcoholic drink, but I do have some ice water. I shouldn't be drinking it anyway because I just got better with my throat, but never mind that. So today we are going to speak about, drum roll please, Pele the Fire and Volcano Kupua.
And yeah, it's actually gonna be kind of like a double feature as well too, because we're gonna mention her sister as well.
Yes, and some of you might know her as and I'm so sorry, I looked up all of the pronunciation beforehand, but I know I'm going to screw something up.
I got you. I will try to have your back, because I love the way, I love the language so much. Like, it's so much fun to say the names and everything. Yes. So I've been trying so hard.
Yes, like it's beautiful. And I'm just so sorry for my lack of being able to use my tongue and the great skill of the language. So Pele, you guys might know her as the goddess of fire and volcano, or you guys might even know her through another name called Madame Pele. Or Alyssa, help me out.
I'm pretty sure this one is Tutu Pele.
Tutu Pele. Okay. Tutu Pele. So she's not really a goddess. That's the thing. We do refer to a lot of these Hawaiian Kupua as gods and goddesses, or sometimes even demigods, Disney. But the Hawaiian refers to her as a Kupua. And a Kupua is not exactly a god or like a spiritual being or anything. They're not demigods either, not in the way that Disney portray them. They're not half humans, half god. They're more like superhumans, or a person with really extraordinary abilities and talent. They're not mortal, but not God. They're kind of in the middle.
I would go as far as to describing them as probably like a spirit, more of a primordial being, like representations of the land.
Well, because
The name Kupu actually translates to like spiritual or some kind of spiritual purity. I'll talk about that later
I
when we
kind of
get
felt
to
like,
Pop Culture Connect.
you know what I feel like?
Yeah.
You know what I feel like when I start researching Pele? I feel like she's like Wonder Woman on steroid.
Honestly, an angrier version of Wonder Woman, though. She's like,
Yeah, the steroids cause her to be angry. I'm sorry, guys. It's not to make fun of it. So today we are splitting this into 3 sections of the Kupua Pele's life. We're going to describe her life as a Kupua and a immigrant. Yes, you guys heard me. She's an immigrant to the land of Hawaii. She wasn't from Hawaii. She was
actually, she's supposedly the patron goddess, so she made Hawaii. Supposedly.
Basically, she came to a land and then just start. Well, you guys, we're gonna go in there, and also her life as a lover, yay! And then her oh, we're gonna get into that. Life, and then life as a sister, which is the LGBT addition to our story, and which is going to come a full circle around. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into Kupua Pele's origin. So we already know, because Alyssa already told us, that Pele is it's like a creator goddess. She basically is the mother of Hawaii because she creates Hawaii. And if you guys know how Hawaii became the land itself, well, it's through something called, it's through like this very natural fire cauldron that spits fire almost every single day.
Otherwise known as a volcano. Otherwise known as a volcano.
So yes, before, oh God, I don't know how that they even come up with this story, but I love it. So before Pele was there was another fire deity, but that was before Hawaii was actually like a livable land. That was like before Hawaii was a civilization by itself. And this deity, he lives, he is called, oh God, I am so sorry if I screw up his name. He is called Ailao. And that the word Ailao means the forest eater.
Metal.
And they're not very well liked. Well, because they make, he made, not a he, but didn't this Ilau person does not have a specific orientation as a male or female. So I'm just going to use the pronoun they. So they're not really well liked because they make volcano erupts, and it's not very helpful as lava comes and people were kind of suffering. So
I mean,
they did not like Ilau.
Not like if you're trying to, I mean, it's cool to look at, and volcanoes definitely have a lot of very positive properties. Those of you who are like huge science nerds out there, please do not crucify me for this, but I'm pretty sure that volcanoes I'm pretty sure they actually help soil, right? Like after all of the chaos and the fire and whatnot, it's it's supposed to be, depending on what kind of volcano it is, it's actually really good for the soil, for how fertile the land is. It can do a lot of great things, and of course make islands, but it's not.
I wouldn't want to live there.
On it. Yeah. I
don't want to live there. So Ilau was like considered to be then the volcano Kupua. He was the volcano Kupua before Pele, and he lives inside the caldera of a very active volcano. And please do correct me if you can. Called Kilauea.
Kilauea. I keep
Kilauea. If I say it wrong, I'm so sorry. And Kilauea was one of the most active volcano on the island. So it's basically the inventor of the island, if you look at it a good way.
Yes, the inventor, basically the inventor of.
Yes. So Ilau was just sitting there minding his own business, and one beautiful day, entered stage right. Pele was like on this uncharted vacation. She was just like, diddy. I came upon this beautiful vacation island. Man, Hawaii is like a vacation, like a famous vacation site, prehistoric and now. That's wonderful. And she came across the island of Hawaii, and she decided to make a pit stop at Kilauea, because Pele.
Kilauea. I looked it up. Kilauea.
Okay. Because she stopped at Kilauea because Pele is really attracted to fire, like superhuman Kupua. So she couldn't find a place like hot enough for her to settle down. So she kind of had to search around to see if there's any hotel on fire, basically. And so the hottest volcano on the island really attracted her attention. Like just looking up and be like, "Ooh, that place seems comfy." So when Pele arrived at Kilauea, Ilau knew she was coming, and he was like, "Oh, dang, I don't think I can fight my territory with her." So he kind of flipped out and abandoned his home. He ran away, and when Pele comes, she saw like, "Oh, this place is empty. It's an empty volcano." So she decided to make herself at home. She digs straight into the volcano lava and make herself comfortable. Like, this feels so good. Finally, a place where it's hot enough. And
Kind of feel
she
bad for
took
the dude. Like
over
Ilau
Lau's
really.
job of making erupts. The purpose of it is like, this is a creation myth. The purpose is to make more land for Hawaii. So that's why some people refer to Pele as the creator of the island. So basically, we have established that Pele is the creator of the islands because she came in as an immigrant and then she dived straight into the volcano, and kaboom, Hawaii is made bigger.
I don't even know if I would really call her. I guess I would call her an immigrant. I'm not sure if I would call her an immigrant, considering all things considered. But yeah, I guess so. I guess I would.
It's just Hawaii has a better way of treating their immigrants than other countries. Deal with it.
Not we're throwing shade.
Exactly.
But yeah, definitely. I definitely feel bad for Ilau. Like Ilau really got Ilau really got evicted from his home, and I'm like, they're never clear on what happens to Ilau, and he never gets really mentioned.
He's fine. He probably came into another volcano and did the same thing Pele did.
That was behind. But you know what?
Who cares?
We regret nothing because we got Pele, the ultimate queen of fire, and she's just great. It's not her official title. Her official title is called Madam or Tutu Pele, but it's what I'm calling her, Queen of Fire. She's just killing the game right now.
Yes,
and also a great start creating all of Hawaii. Like,
yes, this
Hawaii.
Is a great start. This is one of those start where I'm like, she's just in like, I'm the queen, I'm taking over. Like, you guys can move over.
They didn't really take over. She kind of just came in and was like, anybody home, and he was just like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. The fact that she radiated that much power for a literal Kupua that was named what is it called? Forest Eater, and that is so metal. But like literally named Forest Eater to just book it. He didn't even think about it twice.
He didn't care. He just like took off running. Like, as soon as he heard she was coming, like, I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he thought that maybe he wants to avoid a fight. Maybe it's to show that his ambition wasn't as big as Pele. So that's why when Pele came and took over, she was able to create a bigger Hawaii than he ever did.
Which is also hilarious. Also hilarious is them being fire, and also it's kind of well known that, you know, if you light two fires, you have two fires that come into each other, they usually burn each other out.
Yes.
So the fact that he literally, so I'm thinking, it kind of makes me wonder what would have happened if they had actually clashed. Like, I kind of want to see that fight. Maybe that should be our polling question. We should change the polling question. I want to know how many people would have loved to see that fight, like Pele versus the Forest Eater. That would have been so great.
Ooh, that would be great. But since you talk about clashing, we're moving on to our second section, Life of Pele as a Lover. So
yes, I love this part. I love this part so much.
Okay, so let me read you the title that I gave this story. This small section of Pele's life. Kupua, and I apologize again. Like Kamapua Kamapua. We have to pronounce that. Kamapua. We have to pronounce that extra A because Hawaiian knows how to pronounce all of their letters in a word.
Okay, see, we can't come for any English speakers on that because I could speak on several languages where that does not happen. But
well, I do one that happens.
I do love the way it says. I do love the way it sounds in Hawaiian. Like, I wish, I honestly kind of want to learn because it's so pretty.
So yes, this is the story of Kupua Kamapua versus Pele, the love story between rain and fire.
Tell you.
Wait. cute, the tale as old as time. Come on, Alyssa, give us something.
Not you're telling me to sing on spot. How does that song even start? Is it tale as old as time?
Yes. Song as old as rhyme.
Wait, would they technically count as Beauty and the Beast? And who would be the Beast then?
Both of them?
Nah, Pele takes Beast title.
Well, you're about to find out. Let's see who's Beauty and who's Beast. But tale as old as time has already been cued, and Alyssa, our singer, has delivered a spectacular performance, and that will be her last time. And so this is one of actually Kamapua and Pele is one of the most known myths about the Kupua of Volcano herself, because their story is so iconic and so symbiotic. What is that word?
Symbolic.
Yes,
symbolic.
I can't speak. I'm
basically
so sorry.
Hawaii's version of opposites attract, but like to the extreme on an elemental level.
Basically, this is a very like another creator's myth or another natural element explaining myth. So this is a famous tale, a famous myth known in Hawaii. Pele, from enemy to lover relationship with the Kupua of rain, Kamapua. It's not all in a moment, but it's all now. It makes sense because Pele represent lava, and lava needs rain to be cultivated into fertile soil, like what Alyssa explained to us in the beginning. Rain and volcano needs each other, but they kind of hate each other as well. It's one of those relationships. So this story is really about the symbol. What is that
Symbolic.
word? Symbolic. There's a few days out of the month where I can't speak. Symbolic relationship between rain and volcano. This would never happen if I never learned English. It would have been so easy for me. But you know what? I powered through.
English.
Kamapua was said to be a very handsome man, but he makes an effort, like he literally makes an effort to hide his attractive physical appearance. Like he would cover himself up in like scary face painting. He'd grow out his facial hair. He would transform his appearance into like a hawk and occasionally a fish to avoid people seeing like his real face, even though he's good looking. It's not like
he's a very
hideous.
Beautiful man, like literally. So I guess in this case he is the Beast in our Beauty and the Beast story. Like, and to add to that, the symbolism, at least for Disney's new version, he's also got daddy issues. So
oh shoot.
We can add that to the list of many.
Alyssa, I do not really want to get sued by Disney, so don't go too deep, okay?
Look.
They have the money to destroy me for life.
Empire, that empire money. Would love to be a part of that Disney empire, but yeah, either way. So we've got our Beast, Kamapua, lots of face tattoos, lots of transforming. For some reason, just does not want to let us gaze upon his beautiful face. But I'll tell you who he does want to gaze upon it. Our very own Patreon goddess, Pele. We love that. Let's continue with her story. How they continue to meet. After ages and decades of fighting each other, they literally just decide. I think that's pretty much how it happens. They literally just decide one day, you know what? Fighting's a little bit too much work. Let's try something else, and something else turns into let's snog for a couple hours.
No, actually,
and see where that goes.
No, actually, when they were about to kill each other, because here's the thing: rain and fire can't defeat one another. That's the thing. So Pele and Kupua can't defeat each other. They can only fight till death. So when they know they're about to like kill each other and they're both gonna die, for some reason they just start switching it up and try something else, like Alyssa said, and they started making out instead of killing. So
it's all the adrenaline. It was all the adrenaline, all the hormones.
The hell? Like, what the heck in the world? But I'm so sorry.
I love the good enemies to lovers trope, and that part of the trope is always my favorite part, where they literally come like 2 hairs from maybe just taking each other out, and they're just like, let's snog instead. That's great.
Yeah, like they just full on just drop everything and just snog at each other's faces. I'm like, what the heck are y'all doing? But it's creative writing skills. I'll give you that. And then after that, after they have made out and after they have come to each other's suffice, they split the island into two equal parts, each ruling half of it. Pele got the southwestern side and of Hawaii, and Kupua got the northeastern part, which explain why the northeastern side of Hawaii gets more rain than the rest of the island. Is because like I said, it's a creation myth. It's a natural elements myth. So it's meant to explain the things that they didn't know scientifically can happen back then. And so Kupua had a mental breakdown after receiving true love from Pele. Cue the tell us all the time again, but this time we don't need to sing. But he overcomes his hatred for his natural look. True love cures everything, you see, and decided to reveal. He decided to unleash his handsome look to Pele, but she freaks out, run away, and throw a bunch of lava at him.
Yeah, apparently Pele prefers tattooed bad boys to pretty boys any day. So
the guy literally just had a breakthrough. Come on, women.
It's kind of hilarious though, because usually in the stories, especially with Beauty and the Beast, you get the beast side of him. You fall in love with his personality, and they become beautiful again. And they're like, you know what? This is even better. I won the mother load. I won the jackpot. They're beautiful, gorgeous, and have a gorgeous soul.
I love this.
Amazing, because this obviously happens to everyone in real life, and I'm just like, no. So I love that this story ends with him turning gorgeous, and Pele's just like, no.
Whoever was the author to this, like whoever wrote this myth, they were like, I'm going to be different, and none of you can do a thing about me. Because that did not just end there. She did not just shoo him away. She threw flying lavas at him until he had to jump into the water and turn himself into a fish to get away from Pele.
My girl Pele is very I'm like stuck on the words for it. Apparently I can't English today either, but she's very
see
she's very impulsive. That's the word I want to use. Our girl Pele is very impulsive, and just so you know, because we'll probably be I'm not sure if we'll stay in Hawaii for that long, but if we ever circle back to it, just notice that this is a common theme with Pele, and we're going to see this throughout the story. She's very impulsive, and and she acts very much on her emotions. If she's very upset or something bothers her even a little bit, just know we're going to be like an April shower can turn into a blazing fire in like 2 seconds flat, two shakes of a dog's tail.
Yes,
we'll get
so many tails. There are so many little stories about her impulsiveness. She has like a hard case of ADHD, and I don't rarely say that. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, I just think that it was born into her because she's Volcano. So yeah,
I mean, but it makes sense with her being the embodiment, with her being drawn as the embodiment of a volcano. Yes. I would think that has more to do with the fact that volcanoes are often they're often, they're eruptive, explosive? They're very destructive, they're explosive. Yeah, they themselves, if you're going to make a person, if I was going to draw an anthropomorphic version of a volcano, Pele would pretty much be it, dormant most days and chill, but the smallest thing can happen, a little shake, a little quake here and there, and suddenly we've got a huge gate at the front of the island that says abandon all hope who enters here.
That was a destructive relationship. But another shocking revelation happened in this story. It didn't end there. Pele was later said to have a kid. And yes, Kupua is the father. Break the cycle. He had daddy issues, and now he leaves his kid. Although he really didn't have a choice. I put this one on Pele because really chasing him away with fire because of looks. How shallow of you to not appreciate how beautiful of a man he was. I'm sorry. That's
hilarious.
Wait, maybe she's like, he lied to me. How dare you lie to me?
He lied to you about being pretty. Get over it.
Like, come on, women. Like seriously. But they did have a daughter. They did. They have a daughter, and I did try to find a name, or the identity of this kid, but there were a few different names. I couldn't pinpoint down to one because apparently she had a few other children with other people as well. So I couldn't really pinpoint down to which daughter or which or which other Kupua did she had with her other lover and with Kamapua. So maybe it got lost during translation, or there were no specific source, or people didn't bother to make more stories or mini stories for the kids. So basically, this story is meant to be a metaphor for a volcano is only fertile with rain.
And let's also mention that Kapua never comes back to the island. Supposedly, he doesn't come back to the island, which is weird because there's still rain, but he doesn't come back to the island, or at least if he is, he steers very clear of Pele because, I don't think he fancies having giant molten rocks chucked at his head. I mean, would you?
Well, there is a few sources that say that Pele does miss Kamapua, but she didn't get to see him because Kamapua kind of had another family in the ocean, because remember he turned into a fish and he remained in the ocean most of the time. Kamapua doesn't want to venture onto land, not really because he didn't have. Now this is just only a few sources says this, but he didn't want to venture onto land because there's a chance that he might run into Pele, and it hurts too much to see her, the woman he loved, rejecting him.
Man, I'm calling BS on some of that.
I mean, some sources, not all.
I truly do, but like,
I'm
gonna put this one on Pele. Like, you chased him away with fiery rocks. That's kind of a deal breaker. So if he did supposedly get another family, which I mean, most of the love stories I've seen in Hawaii so far are pretty solid. They're very cute and they're pretty solid. Not a lot of cheating going on here. Greece, but
shade. I'm not the only one with shade.
Look, Grecian gods are my favorite. They spill the tea. They are the tea. The entire teapot. But seriously, no.
I love it. And since this is like our season finale, so just go wild. Like, I don't care. What are you gonna do? Well, they actually can't sue us, so stop.
Nah, but yeah, but literally, I give. If we were awarding point systems, which we've done that before, if you haven't seen it, check out our episode before this. But I would take the point from Pele on this one because that was very uncalled for. You lied to me about being pretty, so I threw rocks at you. If it was a rom-com, this is the moment in the rain where you're just looking at the character like, I don't understand you're just confused because you're like, I don't get what's happening here. This
is why I don't watch rom-com. Pele is the inspiration for all future rom-com.
I literally come for the com part. I don't come for the rom. I come for the rom. I stay for the com. I stay for the comedy.
Yeah. I like that idea. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have established Pele's complicated love relationship. Now we're about to tell you another one. Not only does this story involve her relationship, but how she ruined her sister relationship. And her sister is actually our LGBTQ icon for today. The thing that you guys came for this episode. So I would like to see a round of applause
for Hi'iaka. Yes, I love her. Okay. So we've got our patron goddess, Hi'iaka, got our, well, not really goddess, we're going to use the correct terminology, our Kupua of hula dancers, chant, sorcery, and medicine, and also the sister to Pele and LGBTQ icon, waving the flag proudly. She's an absolute darling, completely the opposite of her sister, a little bit calmer, a little bit sweeter,
very calm,
not as impulsive, definitely not throwing rocks at her lover.
Exactly.
Which we can appreciate.
Yes. She is very calm, not like me right now because I had some ice water. I don't know why is this affecting me. Maybe I'm just like that.
Coffee. This is why I tell you, cut back on the caffeine.
I did not have caffeine at all.
Why do I not believe you? But okay, moving on to Hi'iaka, her origin story. So her origin story is very interesting.
Yeah, it is. She came from an egg. She came with Pele to Hawaii in form of an egg. So she was technically born in Hawaii. And yes, if you guys misheard me, it was an egg. And they were both immigrants. So deal with it. But Pele wasn't her mother, though. She carried her sister in an egg to Hawaii. And Pele and wait, can you pronounce her name again for me?
Hi'iaka.
Hi'iaka. Yeah, Pele and Hi'iaka's mother had the egg, and Pele took care of it. Took care of her sister until she hatched from it.
Because
And
Pele might not be such a great spouse or girlfriend in some of her stories, but she is a dang good big sister. She is an amazing big sister. Big sister number one.
Yeah, she was actually, and listen to Alyssa because she actually is a sister and she has to deal with two brothers. So listen to her. And so Hiaka is only one of many of Pele's siblings, but Pele had other siblings, but she was not as close as to anyone else other than Hiaka. So they have a very close bond. And in the legends, Hiaka is described to be like a very incredible Kupua. She is brave, she's powerful, she's queer, she's creative and smart, and her entire epic is centered around powerful women. Planet her empowerment here, woman empowerment. Come on, guys, this is why we need to bring her up here. Except, too bad good things does not last. So in contrast to Pele's hothead personality, I'm being very dramatic right now. I don't even know why, but Hiyaka possesses a more calm and refined demeanor versus her sister, and she was actually the inventor of hula dancing. So this is probably how. This is my prediction that through her.
This is how we get her lover. Yes.
This is through her hula dancing class, so maybe that's how she's like, oh, look at you, look at you, I like you.
Oh no.
And her lover, her girlfriend name is, oh my god, I looked this up beforehand.
I'm pretty sure it's Hope. Is it Hopoe?
I think so. It's Hapoe. Yeah, I believe Hapoe. She was a human dancer, and she was known to be Hiaka's. Oh man, I cannot pronounce this word.
Aikane. I got this one.
Aikane. Okay.
So yeah. So Hopoe is a human hula dancer, and of course that obviously this pleases Hi'iaka, being the creator of hula, for her to be a really amazing dancer. And their relationship in stories is often described as aikane. So we're using this in a noun. I think pretty sure. Yeah, noun tense. Noun tense. Yeah. So their relationship is described as aikane. Aikane is actually, when you translate it, is actually the term used for a sexual relationship between men. So between two men. So if we apply that to Hopeway and Hi'iaka as women, well, you know what we get. So obviously that's what we get. We get ourselves a regular Boston marriage. So
yep. People, Hawaiian people had gay marriage dating back to prehistoric time. Get with the time, people. Y'all late. Get the time, people. Get with the time.
I mean, many people actually, if you go, I found it very interesting that when you go to Western mythology, or Western, even a lot of Western cultures before colonization, of course, before colonization, there was a lot of acceptance around LGBTQ relationships. They were very heavily involved in a lot of the stories and myth telling, especially even things like the Byzantine Empire and things like that.
Yeah,
you could find a lot of myths surrounding this, and it was not something that was out of place. It was something that was a normal part of the culture, and we can actually, I'll definitely talk more about that when we get to our pop culture connection,
definitely,
segment. But just know that for this specific story, historians will say that they had feelings for one another, and that feeling was friendship, but they are indeed wrong, because aikane is canonically means it is a physical relationship. So they are basically married. She put it in.
I don't know why they did not invent like another word for female. Maybe they were too lazy to invent another word, so they just be like, just use one.
I can explain. I think it'll explain better. I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert on this, but it's also if you remember when I was talking about Egypt, I talked about how they had 2 genders for every god or goddess. Here, they actually had 3 genders in Hawaii before.
Yes.
They still do, actually. It's less well known than it used to be,
Oh my
but
goodness.
they have 3 genders. So I would assume that the lines between the two are pretty loose or pretty thin. But we can talk about that later in PCC, our pop culture connection. So
Can
let us continue with
we
Hiyaka's story.
can we start like an uncolonizing movement or something? Because I hate this.
You know,
I hate this.
I would say that, but then, and I'm not condoning it at all. I'm not condoning a lot of the atrocities that went on, but we did get a lot of creative things that happened when you never can get there's a lot that comes out of colonization. There's a great exchange that kind of comes there. And I know I sound like a really horrible person saying that, but we also have to remember that, because I think when people think colonization, and I know I throw a lot of shade at it on this show. People think
Yeah.
colonization, they think European colonization, oh, the atrocities, everyone in the world has been screwed over by that. But they weren't the only colonizers at that time. And like I said, we'll get to that when we head to our pop culture chat for today. Well, when we head to our pop culture connection for the day, we'll get to some of that. But you know,
Can I give
you
them
don't
a
get a
fun
lot of the
fact?
mix without it. Huh?
Can I give them a fun fact?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the Chiefs. Remember, here's the thing. Aikane was a regular thing. It was just, another typical thing in a day. So they were during the more I wouldn't say ancient. It wasn't that long ago, but during the time where
Before
Hawaii was.
colonization, we can just say it like
I
BC,
was
before
about to say it.
colonization.
I was about to tell them to imagine a uncolonized Hawaii. The chiefs of Hawaii, the chiefs of these tribes, would very commonly have an iconic relationship, like with one another. Like, oh, they just merged another tribe. There we go, through marriage.
And actually, they actually weren't even really typical. Iconic was considered a pretty big deal. Like, even the stories that they had around certain chiefs and queens and whatnot that had iconic, like they took part in that
Why didn't we
iconic.
go to Hawaii sooner?
I
Why
didn't
didn't we?
think of it. I didn't think of it.
Oh, we didn't at all. So that's iconic right there. That's what you called understanding. That's what you called culture. That's what you called before colonization.
Goofy. But yeah, no, but I mean, like I said, it wasn't even technically typical. Like I said, the relationship was actually a very big deal, and it was actually
Yeah,
very significant. And like I said, we have such sweet stories around it. Maybe you'll get to that in later podcasts, or maybe we'll come
yeah.
back to Hawaii in season 2. We'll definitely have to come
Definitely.
back.
Definitely. We're definitely going to come back. We're just taking a little break and we have a little announcement at the end. So hopefully you guys stay till there. We have a little special announcement. So yay. We're going to stay tuned to that. But basically what we just all said, we keep droning on about it because we're so excited about it.
Oh
But
yeah,
it
it was a
all
very
sums
interesting
up.
topic. We were talking about Icane, but I think they get the gist of what Icane is. And then the fun fact that actually chiefs in Hawaii, a lot of chiefs in Hawaii actually took part in Icane. They had
Yeah.
Icane. They had the relationship between men. And actually, in another fun fact, and this is the last one, I promise, there were even records of, because supposedly the first person to ever come to Hawaii that was like European or any type of when the colonization first started was James Cook. And it was even reported that some of the
Oh.
chiefs asked the sailors who would come onto the island with James Cook to
Oh.
be their icone. So I found that absolutely great. I kind of found that hilarious.
They were
And
like, oh my God.
I'm
Like, oh my
convinced
God.
some of them accepted. I'm very convinced.
Like fresh off the boat, like, oh, I'm gonna try to get an exotic one. I'm like, wow.
Not exotic.
To them it was exotic. Okay, so basically the whole iconic thing is to sum up to Hapoe and Hiyaka engaging in a loving relationship. Yes, they were acknowledged for their homosexual relationship very early, and that's your history lesson of the day. Until of course, until Alyssa give us more at Popular Culture Connection.
Oh yeah, that part I kind of they did a lot, especially with Hiyaka having a lover and being a Kupua. Like it was even to the point Aikane was extended in they were extended into like the role. Supposedly they were extended into the role of Ohana. Those of you who don't know, Ohana means family. So
Yes, this family, guys. I love this family so much. So remember when I say good things don't last for long? We're about to get into that. So one day, Pele decided to have her spirit venture out. So she was kind of just laying back and relaxing and decide, what would I say to, releasing my spirit outside my body and just go on an adventure, like bodiless. Like it won't be so heavy, I think. I just leave my body here in the volcano and spirit out and like venture out with my spirit into the world.
I mean, she's a very stressed person. She probably just needed that mental health day. She needed that day.
Maybe that's what she thought. And she landed herself a chief, and his name is, oh god, I will try, Lohio. Yes, I believe that's it. And I believe that's his name. So she landed herself a chief named Lohio, and they spent many, many days and nights together doing lovers activities. She is still in her spirit form, by the way. When she's engaging with this Lohio guy, she is in her spirit form doing loving activities. Pele ventured out of her body in a spirit form and met a chief. He's a chief now called Laho. Oh God.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's Lohiao.
Lohiao.
Yep, Lohiao.
Okay, Lohiao. I hope we're so sorry again. At the end of the day, we're so sorry for our pronunciation. We're just having trouble. Lohiao. So right now she's still in her spirit form and she loved him, but eventually, after spending days and nights with him, she realized that she has to return to her body because she's only a spirit. So she left to return to her body with the promise that she will rekindle with Lohiao. And when Pele returns to her volcano, she sent her sister Hiyaka to go find Lohiao and bring him back to her. Hiyaka, knowing her sister temper, made Pele promise her not to harm her grove. That grove is beautiful. I just made it. It's full of gardening tools that I love as well, and my lover is in it as well. So you better not burn it down. So Pele agrees, and she sent Hiyaka on her way with powers, tools, and like some companions to help her complete the quest.
Promising to keep her heart safe. Like, yeah.
So she also gave her like a time limit that she gave her, like, okay, be back in 40 days. I'll be waiting for you. Wink, wink. Which might have something to do. I don't know. It's like the 40 days. Like sometimes it's had something to do with the volcanic eruption intervals. Like maybe like every like 40 days, like there's like an eruption, or like there's like a lava movements or something. I just have the thing about this number, this 40 days. Why did she give her 40 days and not 50 days, 60 days, a month, 2 months? It just sounds like that number means something.
The 40-day limit, I'm not gonna lie, this one threw me for a loop. I can't say I found any specific like significance behind the 40 days, but I do notice in a lot of the stories we either get a 7, a 3, and the 40. So I'm wondering if this is just the holy trinity of numbers and storytelling. I get the 7 in heaven stuff, and then of course the 3 is like it literally is the holy number of stories. But 40 days, will never understand that. If someone else knows though, or if someone has an idea, I would love to hear it, like either drop in the chat or DM us, because I actually don't know the significance of 40 days always being given in stories. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting. I wonder what that number is about. But we go back to the quest. Hiyaka. Oh my god, I am terrible with names. Hiyaka. Oh my god, I think I forgot her lover's name as well, but we'll get there when we get there. So the quest was quite challenging for Hiyaka to find help.
Lohiao.
Lohiao. She tried to find Lohiao, but he has died when she found him. And his cause of death, you're gonna love this, Alyssa.
Oh my
Broken
God.
heart because he misses Pele so much. He had to revive him, which took some time. But here's the thing: Hiaka was very honored amongst the Hawaiian culture and religion because of her ability to save people and bring them back to life.
And
So
I mean,
he's
goddess of
lucky.
medicine and magic, that kind of makes sense.
Yes. Yes, that so he was lucky that he met her so that she revived him. But unfortunately the time that took to revive Lohiao and return to Pele was longer than 40 days. And like on the way back to Pele, by the way, this is a side note, on the way back, like their adventure back to the volcano, to Pele, this Lohiao guy couldn't stop making move on Hiyaka and her companions. Like he was actively flirting and trying to get with them. So I don't know about the
Well,
broken
way to
heart thing.
ruin my whole, like, I was rooting for them. It's just, I'm having a Tyra Banks moment. It's like I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? He kind of deserves his fate after this. I missed that part in the notes, and now that I'm reading it, I'm just like, I'm literally having a Tyra Banks moment. It's just like, why?
Yeah. But whatever comes, when of course when they return to the volcano to meet Pele, before that she has already became impatient and enraged. That why is it taking so long? What, I gave her 40 days. Isn't that
Pele's
enough?
impulse kicks in. Her impulse kicks in, and with that, her attitude and her fire. She has literally turned her sister's precious
Chucking
grove
lava.
into a pool of lava, and has quite literally, supposedly in the story, she turns her sister's lover into a stone. I'm taking that to mean she melted her and it hardened over time into stone, which very gruesome death for our adorable little hula dancer. She did not deserve that. Pele, you are kind of being a bad ally here. How dare you help the bury your days trope?
She actually destroyed most of Hawaii. She started just chucking lava, destroying most of Hawaii, includes her sister Grove that she specifically promised not to touch. And I think that what you're saying is true, is that Hapoe was described to be like turned into stone. And you guys know what happened when when lava shoots from the volcano. It takes days, it takes almost years for a lava to be cooled. And after a lava cooled, like a piece of lava like become a rock, it becomes an igneous rock. That's what volcano make, igneous rock. So I'm imagining that she probably threw like a gigantic chunk of lava at Hapoe, and over the time she just turned into a giant igneous rock. And so for that, Hiyaka got back and saw her girlfriend dead. She got mad and decided to make out with Lohiao at the top of the volcano, like right in front of Pele, to spike her. So Pele got angry and killed Lohiao again. But don't worry, Hiyaka brought him back to life again as well. This, you guys following me? So Pele killed her sister's girlfriend. So her sister decided to get back at her by making out with her boyfriend, her love interest, and her sister got spiked. All right, she killed him again. She killed her boyfriend, her lover, who's actively cheating with her sister, and so Hiyaka felt bad, and she was like, "Oh no, I made him die innocently just
You know
because I
what
want
kills
to
me?
spite my sister." So she brought him back. She brought him back again.
Why didn't she bring back Hiyaka? That's the plot hole that I'm trying to figure out. Instead of getting angry. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm kind of like, Lohiao is kind of right now, but like she could have brought Hiyaka. If she can bring people back to life, I'm just thinking, why didn't she bring Hiyaka back to life?
I don't know, probably because of the lava incident. I think that when she got back it was already too late.
Yeah, because I'm like, I find it weird that they didn't say that Pele killed her. Like, for everyone else, it's like, oh, she burns them, she throws fire at them. But for Hapoe specifically, it's like, oh, she turns to stone, and I'm just like, what? Like, did you actually like magic it up and literally like turn her to stone? Is there like some kind of way that it keeps Hiyaka from bringing her back to life? I don't know, that whole ending kind of just
Maybe it was too late.
feels
Maybe
like
it's already
somebody
too
was a
late.
little bit bitter about this happy ending. It's like it just isn't allowed to happen.
Maybe it was just too late, because in a lot of stories we read, even the goddess or the god with like a revival power, like they can bring someone back, but it has to be like a certain amount of time. Like after you die for a certain amount of time, you can't be brought back anymore. Or if your body is too damaged, you can't be brought back anymore. Something like that.
Yeah, we definitely got to come back to Hawaii to see exactly what is going on with the lore where this cannot happen. But in a nutshell, just to end, kind of bring this to an ending, there are a few different endings depending on which way you go. In some versions, they do, like Pele and Hiyaka, of course, they duke Hiyaka, they duke it out, and Lohiao picks between the two. He picks Pele or the other sister, Hiyaka, constant. So classic sister versus sister over a man.
A lot of abbreviations.
Yeah, and depending on which, which story you like or what couple you're rooting for, this can either be a happy ending. Oh, at least someone got at least Hiyaka and Hiyaka and Lohiao got to be together, which I'm just now realizing. Speaking of Stitch, I'm just now realizing that Lilo and Stitch 2, which I love. Oh my gosh, it's such an amazing movie. One of my childhood, literally my childhood. They actually told the story of Lohiao and Hiyaka, but they told the straight version of it. And in that story, it's a happy story.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They told the straight version of it. Yeah, I'm just realizing they told the straight version of it. It literally just popped into my head now, and that's an Easter egg for all of you who didn't notice this or are hearing this story and are very confused. I want you to go back and watch Lilo and Stitch 2, because Hiyaka and Lohiao's story and Pele's story is told in that story, and Disney has chosen to go with the straight version. So if you went with the straight version of this story, you would actually be happy, because in the end, Lohiao actually does pick Hiyaka, supposedly, according to that.
Hiyaka didn't even like him. She only did that to spite him, to spite her sister. Like, how could you?
Well, according to our American Disney straight, it's not even an American story, but like according to our Disney straight story, he picks Hiyaka, she brings him back to life, and the two of them live happily ever after. But if you're wanting the original story, I'm kind of mad that Hiyaka didn't get to be with Hopeway, her original lover, and that's a little sus to me.
I hate that. I hate Disney. They ruined that. I will never forgive them. Oh God.
They're like, it's like, yeah, I mean, Disney's like it's I know it's bad for me, but I love it. I will never stop.
Crusher. Myth Crusher.
And speaking of Disney, let's go ahead and segue into our and
yes,
we'll make
please.
This so let's go ahead and segue with that. Let's go ahead and segue into Pop Culture Connect time, because and what a way to do that. Disney, way to go, segueing into our pop culture time. The fact that they told the straight version of Hiyaka's story, that's really gonna haunt me for a good while now. And I'm definitely, after this, me and my brother are gonna have to talk about it. It's gonna be hilarious.
Oh,
we didn't even notice this. So for our Pop Culture Connect time, we've got a couple of things with Aikane, like I said, Aikane being a very important role, actually being a normal role. The only part about it that kind of makes me kind of squeamish is the fact that sometimes children were raised up to be Aikane to chiefs, and I'm not with I don't think I have a good grip on that culturally to understand that. So and I mean, it's not like Hawaii is the only place where you can see this being done. This has been done all over the world. But aside from that, Aikane has a lot of sweet stories to it. There's even one where there is a king Lono, and he's a legendary chief. He's not even a king. Sorry, I'm sorry. He's a chief. He's a legendary chief named Lono, and he is chief to a big island, and he leads an expedition to Hawaii, and Hawaii, and he all of his followers supposedly desert him, but there is a man named Kapaihi. I'm sorry for anyone who is Hawaiian, please text in the chat.
I think you're right. It's like Kapaihi. It's just basically the way it's pronounced. It's very like literal.
Yeah. Okay. So then in that case, yeah, Kapaihi. basically is his aikane. And when everyone else deserts the king, I guess for failure of the mission or exploration or whatnot, Kapaihi remains and actually explains to Lono, and I will not speak it in Hawaiian, but they actually have a whole there was a whole blurb, and it translates to "I loved you, so I followed you, and I remained with you." And it's kind of it's like a little saying now for the loyalty that was there with Aikane. And so Aikane was actually kind of a big deal
It
BC
was.
before colonization. So I that was a very sweet story to me. That the kind of loyalty that was shown. And there are tons of other sweet stories that you can look up that have that. I also want to highlight some vocabulary words for our pop culture connect time. Kupu being one of them, since we talked about Kupua, and we mentioned that they're not really gods, not demigods, not humans.
Yeah.
Kupua, if you take off the A, is Kupu, and Kupu actually is a word for spiritual purity, with mana being the spiritual energy, and I'm assuming probably the source of the elemental power, mana being the spiritual energy that kind of flows. And then, of course,
makes sense.
This word I just found funny because we use it in English. We tend to do that, use a lot of different languages and put an American accent on it, and you kind of forget
makes
that
so much sense.
Yeah.
This language makes so much more sense than English will ever be to me. I'm so sorry. I know you guys are English speakers out there, but that English was my second language, so I'm ditching it.
I mean, honestly, like I said, English is a very good, I love English because it's a very good mix of everybody's language. Like, even when we say the word, like we say it to describe someone. We say like, oh, you're the big kahuna, you're the big man. We use it like, oh, you're the big man on campus. But kahuna is actually Hawaiian. It's a word in Hawaiian, and it actually has a lot to do with the kupu and spiritual energy and all of that.
Do you know how backwards it is? Do you know how backwards and confusing it is for a freaking 5-year-old girl to put pieces and fragments of nonsense together? That's English for you.
Well, I mean, like I said, it all depends on how you came about it, because I spoke English first. My parents are not from America, but I was born here, so I spoke English first. And I mean, if you're speaking English, these kind of things don't hit you maybe until you're older, or I like to learn different languages, so it doesn't hit you right unless you're constantly learning different languages. That this actually isn't a part of the original language. Like, this is really cool that how it kind of, to me, I like it because it's like it's a definite, like people hear this a lot and they get tired of it, but I like the kind of symbolism that America truly is. The English in itself is a little bit of a melting pot language. You get every language that kind of gets thrown
melting
into
pot.
It. Yeah, because it's a melting pot language.
More dark history
that's thrown into it, and you get something completely new. I think that's really cool. But that was really interesting to me, that kahuna actually means an individual who is of a higher caliber, like so high that they can actually talk to spirits. And we use it as big kahuna, like you're the big man.
That's Hawaiian.
That's interesting. Yeah, and it's Hawaiian.
Yeah, it sounds Hawaiian. Like as soon as I heard it, I'm like, huh? Did you get that from Moana or something? I'm like,
no. I
didn't know that word beforehand. I didn't know about that word beforehand. So I was like, did you watch like the Moana film or something? Because I never heard that word. Maybe from just where I live, I never heard of it. But as soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah, that's Hawaiian.
No, definitely not. I didn't get it from Moana. I literally was like looking up the words, like because I was trying to translate a lot of these words to kind of give a breakdown for what the spirits are. Because like I said, we were comparing them really to deities, but it kind of doesn't seem like that's how they were viewed. They were viewed as deities, like they were worshipped, but it's a different type of worship, it looks like. But my last pop culture point of the day, and I mentioned this earlier, and some of you probably were waiting for it. I mentioned that Hawaii actually has three genders.
Yay!
So we've got. So our first gender, of course, is we have the Kane, who are male figures, of course, man. And we have Wahine, which is female. But we also have a gender called Ma'u. And Ma'u are they're the in-between gender that embodies both male and female.
Yes!
And in Hawaii, BC, and in this case, I'm not talking about colonization because I already had a talk on that. I'm going to describe it as BC before James Cook. So BJC, before James Cook came to Hawaii and before all of that nonsense happened.
You know what my favorite part was? The fact that they asked some of the guys on his ship to be their iconic.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, exotic goods coming straight off their boats.
Like extending it, and I kind of think it's cute because it's like it's that immediate acceptance, and you're like, okay, like new people, like these ones are kind of attractive, like let's have at it. I mean,
my question would be, did any of them accept?
We don't have any record, and I'm pretty sure that I'm knowing historians and their whole conservative historians and their whole they were just friends ideals and tropes that maybe it would be pretty hard to find out if anybody did accept, but feel free to look it up. Anybody who's out there, feel free to look it up and try to see if anyone did accept, because I would assume that they probably did. I mean, especially if they're coming from Europe or England, especially, they had some very fun they had some very fun stories of their own concerning LGBTQ.
You never know.
They probably did.
Like, these guys are cooped up in another life, and they come to this island where everything is so freeing. You never know.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that some of them probably did accept. Maybe they did accept. Like I said, if I went into LGBTQ history in England, it all on its own, that is a whole nother. It is a lot more. It's a lot more. It's not as free as other cultures who kind of had already accepted this, but it's definitely still just as interesting. And I'm pretty sure that there were probably some men on the boat, or some men on the boat who definitely accepted. But either way,
that makes sense to me. Okay, so we've established the pop culture connects, and now
just explaining, just because I want to make sure that they had a good understanding of this. The difference between the three genders, their idea of the genders, and I just want to make this clear because it's often not addressed. The Wahine and the to them, gender, as far as I'm concerned, and I'll post a link later to a video if you would like to learn more about the three genders in Hawaii, but it was seen more, gender was described as it should be, as a role. It was not described as, of course there's the difference between sex and gender. There's what you're born with, and then there's also the role that you carry. So the Wahine,
I want to go back in time. I want to live in Hawaii.
Let me finish. Okay, so you had the Wahine, of course, who had the classic role of women, and it's not in a way to degrade or say that this is your lot in life or whatnot, because you also had the choice to be, of course. Well, I wouldn't really say it's a choice. It's more of but it's definitely identify. You had that opportunity to identify as Ma'u, because Wahine, of course, they had the different jobs and roles that they did. So it was more of a job. Your gender was more of a job. And then, of course, the Kane had their specific role in society, the hunting, taking care of things. And then there were the Ma'u. The Ma'u, of course, embodied both the, I would go as far as to say the essence of both female and the male counterparts' roles in society. They were before all of the colonization and the Christianity coming over and all of that, they were actually very highly respected for embodying both the role of a female and the role of a man, teaching hula, doing chants, having a very high spiritual place. It was considered a good thing for you to be able to perform the roles of both a man and a female. And so that I found that very interesting. I actually learned about it in my anthropology class when we were studying cultures, and that was, I kind of kept going with it because I was just so shocked that it existed. And apparently it still does exist. It is, I will say that I'm not sure if it's as respected as it was back then, but Hawaii is definitely a place where I definitely respect them for how much of their culture they've still managed to hold on to, how much of it they take seriously. And before we get into the whole throwing shade at colonizers and whatnot, when we get into our announcement about the new podcast that's coming up, and I'll mention this to Julie to mention it in there. When you had LGBTQ, like I said, there was a lot more of it. I'm seeing a lot more of it that I'm seeing in Western mythology. But when you had that kind of going on, there you had more than just European colonizers to worry about. There were other people, conquerors, and even like domestic conquerors who would conquer you, and that kind of mixed up the pot, especially our LGBTQ pot. That mixed up a lot of how we view a lot of the deities that were supposed to represent them, a lot of the mythologies that were supposed to represent them. It was a lot that happened. So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely a lot, way too much to identify, and frankly, sometimes I don't want to, but in this case, it is good to, because it is a good of it. And like I said before, this was supposed to be told during the month of June, but of course we have work, we have school, we have other things to do. I would love to just sit here and do podcasts all day, but we cannot do that just yet. It's still a very good moment and a very good atmosphere to tell the story, which is why we think about extending our podcast. Those of you who have been tuning in to Mistresses Behind the Myth for the past couple of months, we started this out, very small production, and now we have a much bigger audience, and we hope to do more of this. So, of course, we are still going to do Mistresses Behind the Myth. We're just taking a break between the seasons. We're going to come back for season 2 in October. We're going to come back strong with a Halloween episode in October. We're going to be telling some spooky myth for Halloween. We haven't decided just yet, but if you guys
horror from around the world, baby.
If you guys have any ideas, do slid it into our DMs, slid it to me under the table, whatever you have to do. If you guys have something to say, have some a request, do send it to us. But in the meantime, I would need some drum rolls again. Alyssa? We're doing a spinoff. We're doing a spinoff of Mistresses Behind the Myth. We're doing another series. It will be called Rainbow Behind the Myths, and it's going to be focused on LGBTQ plus myths. So we're going to be coming back in October while we're on our break before the season 2 of Mistresses Behind the Myth premieres. We're going to be doing this mini series of Rainbow Behind the Myth.
And I'm so excited because there are so many mythologies. Guys, there are so many mythologies and so many parts of history that contain LGBTQ, and it gets so interesting. Like it gets to the point where it's so crazy how much there is to go around in the stories and the history that's being told. And it's like, yes! Unfortunately, I'm so sad that like I have a lot to do, guys. I've got some really big projects that I'm working on, so I really won't be able to come in a whole lot. Maybe I'll come in for like a special episode or something like that, but at the moment I'm probably going to be gone most of the times. I will miss you, mortals.
Yes,
but it's going to be great.
We're taking this break for the sake of everyone's time, everyone's peace of mind, really, because we have so much going on, and also to accompany Alyssa's and my alternate life with work and school and stuff like that. So we cannot come back to Mistresses Behind the Myth until October, and with Rainbow Behind the Myth, we cannot come back until August. We don't know, probably going to be the mid-August or even the end of August. Whatever makes time, we always wanted to be there for you guys and bring you guys the best content, so we would not like to rush into anything and make our content short or unexplainable or stuff like that. We want to give you guys the best. Okay, so closing remarks. Do you have anything else you want to say before we leave for a month and a half?
Yes. Oh my gosh. We'll miss you all. Please comment. I love seeing you guys comment. I love seeing when you guys vote in the polls. We're hoping to get a lot more involvement, especially next time we come in. Don't do anything Pele would do.
Exactly.
Go back and watch Lilo and Stitch, because I'm not over that.
I will never watch it again.
Actually, Lilo and Stitch is the better of the Hawaiian representation that they've tried to do. I personally feel like Moana was okay, but I love Lilo and Stitch.
Are you sure? Because the last time I attended a Moana production with you, it didn't go so well.
Look, I'm not going to get into that with you, but I've got you after this podcast. Let them go, Julie. Let them go.
You didn't let go, but thank you, mortals. We're going to argue after this, but in the meantime, have a great day. Have a great rest of your day. Be good. Don't do anything we would do or Pele would do, and we're going to see you again in October.
Yes.
Bye, mortals.